Yes, my name is Jocelyn, and so I'm gonna ask you some questions about your career. So, what made you interested in this career?
I think that one of the, and we actually had a conversation, several of us here at the college, and we had people from Sonoma State, we had people from Santa Rosa Junior College, we had people from Napa Valley College, we had people from Mendocino College, we had people from Napa Valley School District, kinder to 12th grade, and the same thing for Calistoga. And what we all came to an agreement, because most of us in the room, it was beautiful, most of us in the room were Latino, Latinas, with the exception of a couple of white people. Um, but the agreement was that when you are a Latino, Latina, you don't just go teach because you like teaching. You go teach because you have been given the privilege to get educated, and you owe it to your people, you owe it to your community to then turn around and teach, even if you're not going to make a lot of money. And some places teachers make good money, Calistoga being one of those places, but in other places it's not about the money. It's always about what can I give back to the community.
How did you get started in your career?
I actually, in teaching specifically, I was invited. I was working on my master's degree at Sonoma State, and my master's degree is in something called interdisciplinary studies, which means you get to almost create your own master's degree. You combine some psychology if you want to with sociology, with blah, blah. So you have a core class. So there's 4 classes that are mandatory, and other than that, you choose the other ones, and then you create a master project that you have to work on for 2 years. And so I had just taken a Chicana studies class and a couple other classes, and then what we found out was that one of the professors had a baby, and his wife had a baby, and so by law he could take 3 months off to go be with his wife and the baby, and so I was contacted and I was given the opportunity to go teach Chicana study classes. There were actually 3 classes. And in that period of time, first of all, it was an honor to be asked when I didn't even have my master's yet. And then, two, um, when I saw the material and I was on the other side, right, instead of being on the student side, I was on the teacher side. The first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to change the way teachers teach. It shouldn't be a situation where the teacher is at the front and lectures you and tells you what's right and what's wrong with the world, and the fact that Christopher Columbus did not discover America, and all the lies that they teach us in K-12, that only when you go to college you find the truth. And so I created a circle with students, and it was dialogue, and nobody had the right to, discriminate and all this stuff. And so by the time I finished those 3 months teaching those 3 classes, it changed my whole life. I knew that what I wanted to do was to have the opportunity to educate as many people as possible. So that happened about 4 years ago. And now I teach here at Santa Rosa Junior College in the area of Latin America and the Caribbean, as well as the area of humanities. So I teach a class on gangs and what causes kids to choose a gang over a family, to choose a gang over school, all of this.
What is a typical day for you?
So I have a little bit of a different thing. I do some work with students in my office. And so, like right now, I've been here since 9 in the morning, filling out forms for financial aid. Had to go to college, scholarships. I listen to people's personal problems, students mainly, and then the other piece that I do then is I go to the classroom and I teach classes. There is no typical day for me, because sometimes I'm meeting administrators, and sometimes I'm meeting with students, and sometimes I'm teaching, and sometimes I'm out of the office um, in other meetings. And so it's one of those things where there is no typical day. But when I teach, I usually get here at 9 in the morning. I teach a class from 9 to 10:30, and then I have office hours from 10:30 to 11:30, where students can come over and ask follow-up questions about the topic that we discuss. Um, and then I work with other students here in the office. Then I go to Petaluma, and I teach in the evening one class on Tuesdays from 7 p.m. until 10 p.m. And so again, there is no typical day. Every day is unique and different.
What are some daily tasks and then less regular tasks?
I would say daily tasks, for sure, you have to check email, and it's not something that you check just while you're in the office. I may be at a restaurant at lunch and getting emails that require immediate response. Sometimes you are getting home at 11 p.m. and you're checking emails. It's the weekend and you're checking emails. That one is always happening, especially when you teach, because students may be reading and may have a question about material, an assignment, homework they may be doing, and they may have a question. So those are the for sure. And of course, teaching in the classroom. And then not so regular is when a student is having a real problem, a personal problem, whether they just became homeless, whether they haven't had anything to eat in the last couple of days, whether stuff like that that's not so regular. And so we have to address that as those situations come up, or some other emergency that comes up.
What are the rewards or benefits of your career?
The most important things that you do is, I had this kid named Brian, and I met him when he was 13, and he was gang affiliated. He was getting into trouble on a regular basis, and I worked with him through the JC, but I also worked with him on my own time. Took him to San Quentin State Prison, took him to the snow, took him to all these activities, and he is about 2 months now from graduating from San Jose State, and he brought me that cup that says San Jose State Dad. So we have gone from him being in trouble to him now respecting me as if I was his dad. That's like the ultimate goal or the ultimate thing that can happen to you in doing this work. Some of the students I met when they were 6, there's one that I met when he was 6, I don't know where his picture went,